Hi, I'm Mike Lowe for What Digital Camera, and this is our review of the new Olympus PEN EP3. This latest camera claims to have the world's fastest autofocus system, and we put that to the test. Compared to the previous EP2 model, the EP3 now adds a built-in flash gun on the top here, and the previous LCD technology is now replaced with a 610-dot OLED screen, which is far more fluid in playback. It looks a lot nicer and has a greater black to white ratio as well. It's also got a touch panel, so it has touch sensitive control which can be used for still shooting when choosing a focus point and similar. The EP3's new Fast AF technology is said to be the world's fastest, and is achieved by using a faster sensor that now outputs at 120 frames per second, which is twice the refresh rate over the previous EP2. Design-wise, the EP3 is very similar to the EP2 before it in terms of its size and shape. The inclusion of flash has moved the mode dial onto the other side of the camera, however. Plus there's a new grip on the front which actually screws in and it comes separately in the box. The idea being here that you can add a separate grip at a later stage, although the plastic quality and finish of this part of the camera does feel a little bit disappointing compared to such a good finish elsewhere. For a micro four thirds sensor, the EP3 does a sterling job when it comes to images. By not overpopulating the sensor, which is 12.3 megapixels and quite the ideal resolution, the results from ISO 200 to 800 are impressive and detailed. It's a shame there's no ISO 80 or 100 option, however. In lab tests, the finer detail diminishes at ISO 1600, and this progresses further at ISO 3200. Colour noise is only a subtle background hint from ISO 1600 and above, though by ISO 6400 it becomes more noticeable, and by ISO 12800 a wash of red colour noise is to the point of problematic. All in all, there's plenty of detail considering the smaller sensor size, something that shows keeping the resolution to a safe level really does pay off. As well as standard shooting modes, there are also a variety of art filters which can be used for both stills and movie mode. However, when using them in movie mode it can drop the frame rate to such a low that the files aren't particularly usable. The claim that the EP3 has the world's fastest autofocus is an Olympus in-house test, and as much as we agree the focus is a massive improvement over previous models, it doesn't seem particularly faster than, say, something like the Panasonic G3. In some situations, particularly when using the subject tracking or continuous autofocus, the EP3 also struggles to keep up with fast-moving subjects, and compared to something like the Sony A55 or a high-end DSLR, there really isn't any comparison, and this is a big area which could do with some improvement. However, the touchscreen is particularly useful. It's possible to resize the sensitive area and focus it wherever you like, except for a small border around the edge of the screen. The EP3 makes some small improvements over the previous EP2 model by including a built-in flash and an AF illuminator for highlighting subjects in darker conditions as well. But it also makes some much bigger leaps forward by including an OLED screen and that touch sensitivity for focusing on the subject just by literally pressing onto the screen itself. The new fast autofocus system is a considerable step forward for the PEN series and is far faster than previously, although in continuous autofocus and these subject tracking modes it can lag behind a bit, and there's area here for big improvements to still be made. The build quality is very good overall, except for perhaps the new grip which we're not overly keen on, and the pictures are of very good quality as well. One of the drawbacks is the battery, which has 300 to 350 shots per charge and should really be able to fit more power in per each charge. But overall, this is a very strong camera and a step forward for the PEN series that we awarded 88% and our recommended award.